Hey y'all, what's up? JamiThatsMe here. Welcome back. Okay, I want to go ahead and talk to you guys real quick about Love and Marriage Huntsville's reunion part one. So let's go ahead and get into this review. They open up the show speaking on successes, how all of the group have individually, I guess you could say, have achieved, some of their success. Melody, for some reason, did not want to join in on this particular conversation and says that she doesn't have to be proud of anything at this point. Now, I have to be honest. If y'all paid attention when the show first came on, when Carlos was going around and he was greeting everybody, Melody right off the gate seemed to be on the fence, like she didn't want to be there. I don't know what that's about, but it definitely kind of made me feel away. I have to be honest. I was like, I don't like this little attitude Melody coming in with. I understand that you do not like these people on the show. I get that. I understand that. But at the same time, you still got people that's watching you, that's liking you and supporting you, girl. So can you give us a little bit, just a teeny weeny bit of excitement, okay, for being here, And I know it's gonna be a lot of male stands that's gonna be upset. Well, she ain't gotta, talk to nobody. She can have an attitude, she can this, she can that. But girl, remember how when Nene would come on Real Housewives of Atlanta and she act like she wasn't here for the reunion? Girl, remember that? We didn't like it then. And it don't matter who it is, so we don't like it now. Okay. So I just wanted to go ahead and just pretty much highlight that. Now I did kind of understand her reasoning as to why, she had this attitude in the very beginning when it came down to Mr. Maurice. Okay, so let's get into that. All right. Now, Melody does say one of the reasons why she don't really give a damn or whatever about what nobody else got going on at this point was because last year she pretty much told everybody, like, congratulations on everything that you have going on. She said, well, they didn't air it. So at this point, she don't give what they got going on. You feel what I'm saying? I might also feel like that wasn't just shade to the cast when she was like, she don't give a fuck. I feel like there was also shade to Carlos for not showcasing that. And I think that Mel could be at a place where she doesn't like how she might be portrayed just a little bit. And I'm getting that from how people always say Melody ain't good. She ain't a good friend. She ain't got no friends or whatever like that. She don't like nobody on the show, making it seem like, Mel's the problem. And some people will say, well, she is the problem, girl, whatever you want to say, however you want to feel. I feel like that's where a little bit of that is coming from because, of course, she calls Maurice out for the things that he said. Okay. And we'll get into that. Maurice speaks and says, well, he is proud of everybody. So when Mel is talking, he's like, well, I'm proud of everybody. Okay. Right when she finished, I'm proud of everybody. Okay. Mel was like, well, good for you. Good for you. Okay. And it's cute. Good for you. That's good. Good for you, boo. Okay. Just make sure your actions show that. He said, what are you talking about? My actions do show that. He says, because I downloaded your songs when they was talking about my mans. You feel what I'm saying? And I did that just so you could get some streams or whatever. And I wish Melody would have turned to him and kind of chuckled just a little bit and said, the audacity of you trying to say that you play my music like to help me get streams. You know what I'm saying? You played it so that I could get streams. The audacity of you to think that I needed your streams to help me. Like, anyway, baby, but whatever. You did that on your own accord, okay? I didn't know nothing about that. While you talk about your actions do speak, okay? Carlos asked Melody about what she thinks of what Maurice had to say. She said, girl, Maurice is always giving us Martin Luther King spiels, okay? He's always giving us that. So let's keep going. I said, girl, you're not lying. So Kimmy is asking, well, what do you mean? No, I want to know, like, what do you mean when you say that? Like, what do you mean by let your actions show? Like, what exactly are you saying here? So Mel says, oh, okay, since you want to know, like, I'll make sure that I tell you, okay? She says, y'all did an interview. Remember? No, y'all did an interview. Yeah, and Maurice was very clear to say in that interview how you and I weren't friends. He was trying to downplay the relationship that you and I have outside of the show, and I really did not like that. I didn't appreciate that, okay? So going back to what I was saying of how they're trying to kind of like portray her as though like she the problem, whatever the case is, I felt like Maurice was trying to continue the narrative of, like people say, or coming from Martell, Melody don't have friends, so she's not a good friend or whatever. So Maurice wanted to be clear and make sure that he said, I mean, they not friends outside the show. Like, they not friends like that for real. Like, I mean, whatever. So there's that. Okay. I felt like he was trying to, play on that, but he says that he wasn't trying to create any type of division or anything. He was just being honest that from his vantage point, like they not close like that. They're not friends like that. So that's all he was trying to say. Now, I will say this, baby. Kimmy clocked Mel. Y'all feel how y'all want to feel, baby. Kimmy clocked Mel's ass. When Kimmy said, she interjected and she says, but Mel has done countless of interviews. Mel has done countless of interviews. And she's always said that we're not her friends, you know. So I mean, it was kind of said the same. It was the same words. Like Maurice didn't say anything differently than what Melody has already said. It's just that I think the tone was a bit different. Like that may be where the problem is, but it's nothing different than what Miss Melody has already told the people. I was like, oh, you did kind of clock her on that one, girl. I'm with you on it because I definitely have listened to interviews where Melody has said that. So I mean, girl, you're right. However, it's the however for me. All right. Carlos goes on to ask you. First of all, Melody said something about Mel says that Kimmy says that Mel has said the same words or whatever. She felt like the tone was different, and that's when Melody was like, "Yeah," and the comparisons as well. Because let's not act like your husband wasn't up here comparing us. Like, oh, when I get into it with the guys or whatever, we talk and this and that. But Melody, so he definitely was trying to create a difference between the two. Therefore, in my opinion, trying to make it seem like she's ultimately the problem. But let's keep going. So Carlos asked Kimmy, he's like, okay, so would you say that Mel is your friend? And Kimmy says that, you know, based on what it is she seeks from people as friends or whatever, yes, she said when it came to, you know, sending cards, flowers, food, whatever it was, Melody showed up as a friend to her. So therefore she would consider her a friend, but she's not a best friend of hers. Okay. And this is where the however comes in for me. Okay. The however comes in at with you knowing that, Kimmy, with you knowing how Melody shows up to you, then I don't think it would have been wrong for you to check Maurice in that interview and say, well, babe, you know, like we do have a good relationship. Like Melody has been very supportive to me, you know, since I've been going through my cancer, this, that, and the other, whatever, whatever. So I do feel like you could have had her back in a sense with that. I do think you clocked her. I'm going to give you that. But I also hear what, you know, Mel is saying as far as, you know, Maurice trying to talk sideways out his neck. And if you genuinely feel how you feel about your friendship or your relationship with Melody, I feel nothing wrong with, you know, kind of correcting him with that. But, you know, do what you want to do with that, girl. All right. Mel goes on to say that it was offensive. And that's why, you know, she says it was offensive. I feel like he shouldn't have spoken on something that he doesn't know a whole lot about. And I'm kind of like, honestly, how is it that he don't know a whole lot about it? I mean, I don't know, because I would think the husband would know a lot because he's always there, right? That's what I would think. But at the same time, it is giving Kimmy, if he's saying something from his vantage point that you know to not be true or whatever, or you can shed more light on, I don't see anything wrong with that. But I don't know. Kimmy goes on to say, why are you saying that? Why are you saying that? I guess she was talking about Mel feeling away and feeling offended by what it was that Maurice had to say. I understand why. I feel like it's okay for Mel to feel like that, because when Maurice comes out and gets slick, it would make me think on the outside looking in, what conversations are you having with him then, Kimmy? For him to even feel comfortable enough to come out and say anything like this to or about me. Like, what conversations are y'all, like, what's really going on? You know what I'm saying? So I understood. I got both sides for me. Okay. I understood where Mel was coming from. And then I also understood Kimmy feeling like it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, let's not end relationships over one-liners, over little small sentences that people say. Like, let's not do that, you know. I can't say that I disagree. I can't say, I mean, a lot of y'all sat on that stage and sat on this show, and all of y'all, every single person on this show has thrown shade at somebody else across from them. It's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? They have said slick things in interviews on social media. Everybody has contributed to the madness, okay, of this show. So it is what it is. This is what y'all got yourselves into now. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, hey, you know, so I don't think you should be too mad at anything that they say or do. Like, I mean, y'all all do it. But let's keep going. So Carlos speaks with Tisha and Barstow about Chateau Scott Manor, baby. And I loved it. I'm glad he called the Chateau Scott Manor. He also mentioned how, oh, it's gonna be like what? Season 23 by the time we actually get like a full production or something from y'all, like before we actually get like an actual project, a house, some land like built out and everything. And I'm over there hollering because I said it's definitely giving season 23, but I don't even know if I want y'all to go that long. Not even gonna lie. Okay, now Tisha speaks on being a housewife. Okay, Tisha says that she was a housewife, of course. Carlos kind of brought that up, then spoke on her being a businesswoman. Right, we learned that she actually bought out Martell from the company Scott. Okay, people always need a reminder. Scott is for Scott and Holt. It was a company that Martell created or whatever, came together with Scott. I believe it was Martell and Melody came together with the Scott, so whatever, primarily Marcel Scott, for them to be a part of whatever it is that the Holts were already doing. Because if you heard what Martell said, they were already doing what the Scotts are doing now. They were already doing that with Holt and Holt. I think that they were doing it more so on a residential level, whereas the Scotts ended up venturing over into the commercial real estate era at some area at some point. And I think commercial real estate is where you really do make most of your money. But let's keep going. Now, Tisha goes on to talk about how the company was in the negatives when Martell was in charge, and now it's a multi-million-dollar company. And Martell was like, well, wait a minute, scoot back, okay? Don't toot your horn too hard, girl, scoot back, okay? Let's get you together, because if anything, ma'am, you should be sitting up here thanking me, okay? Because y'all don't have a penny to y'all motherfucking name. Why you want to sit up there talk about an account being in the negatives, girl? Let's talk about y'all accounts being in the negatives, which is why I helped y'all come up with something, okay? To put a little coin in y'all pocket, okay? So if anything, girl, you need to be on your knees praising me, and you need to be clapping them motherfucking hands, okay? Instead of clapping them gums is what you over there doing, but you're not gonna sit up here and play me, okay? That's what y'all not gonna do. Then Martell says it's not uncommon for a company to buy another company that's in the red or in the negative and grow it to be $1 million company. And I was over here clapping my hands because I'm like, I agree with Martell. Like, he's not lying. I feel like Martell is absolutely correct. They do this all the time. All the time they buy these companies, because when they're in the negatives or whatever the case is, and they see the value, shoot, they probably could get that company for much cheaper than if the company was performing very well. And then they grow these companies up and they end up being bigger than what they are. So it's not an uncommon thing. I loved how Martell kind of burst the bubble of Miss Tisha. I'm sorry, I did. I was like, bust it, okay? Mel then speaks on her position with the company. She talked about, listen, I don't know where they were when the acquisition took place, girl. Like, I don't know about the buyout and where they were financially. I'm not sure about that. But what I can tell you is, based on my resources, my connections, my experience in the game, girl, I brought them plenty of contracts, okay? That came with plenty of dollars. Understand that. So I can only speak to what it is Miss Melody did, all right? I don't know what they was doing, where they was spending their money at, who they was spending their money on, or how. That ain't got nothing to do with me, okay? I only can speak on what it is that I did, period, okay? So there's that, all right? Now, Carlos asked Marceau about how he feels about working with Tisha. Marceau says, I really don't like. I would prefer not to work with her. I say you would prefer to not work with your wife, but you want your wife to come in and save your company. Make it make sense. Let's keep it going. Okay. So then Marceau does speak on the lawsuit. When he speaks on the lawsuit, he talks about how it's an embarrassment for him. He feels really embarrassed because he said everything happened around the pandemic time, like 2020. And as soon as they signed the contract, everything shut down like a month later. So it changed the course of everything. He was already working on Black amongst other projects that he had in the queue. So for him to end up dealing with this lawsuit that's on his hands right now, like, he's really embarrassed by it. He's shamed by it. He's sad by it. And I also feel like this lawsuit, in my opinion, is just going to be another setback for Scott Manor. The longer y'all in this lawsuit, I feel like the longer it's going to take for y'all to even get Scott Manor up off the ground. Chateau Scott Manor. Okay. So, yeah, now then Tisha jumps in the conversation and she's like, oh my God, like, I really hate this happened to Marcel. I just want to speak on that because I feel like, he worked really hard on this. Let's be very clear. He worked really hard on it. Like, that's one of the reasons why he went to Africa. And Martell said, girl, what? That's why he did who? He went to Africa because he wasn't at home enough. Girl, Martell was up there eating. Now, Martell, I love that you was eating so much on Reunion Part 1, because I feel like by the time we get to Part 3, America is going to be eating you. Okay? But I appreciate it in this moment. You started off on a high note. I do think you're going to end on a low one. But it's okay. Let's go ahead and keep going, right? So when Marcel was kind of joking about that, Tisha said, well, at least he wasn't in the gym. I felt like the shot she took at Martell was also a shot at Melody, okay? I don't know why. Oftentimes, I feel like when Tisha takes shots, I do, y'all. I'm not gonna, I be feeling like it be shots, indirectly going over there to Mel too. I don't know, but it is what it is. At least he wasn't in the gym, because it's really like, that ain't really a shot for Martell for real. Like, is it? Like, at least he wasn't in the gym. I don't know. I guess so. But Melody was saying that Martell would say he was going to the gym during the pandemic, but somehow I believe he was over there with Miss A, only for Miss A to end up pregnant. Girl, what a mess. Okay. So Tisha goes on to say that she understood why Marceau needed that break to go to Africa. And it's like, Tisha, stop lying. Ain't nobody for to make me believe it. I do not believe it. Not one bit. Not one bit, ma'am. I don't believe it. Okay. I think that you were very bothered because you said so out your own mouth that you thought that it was going to be a trip for everybody. But you understood after the fact, after he had already booked the trip and whatever the case was and told you he was going anyway, you ain't have no choice but to understand it. But either way, get up. Let's keep it going. Carlos pretty much tells Tisha this, girl, you know you are so smart. You're so educated, like multiple degree down. Girl, you so smart that you dumb as hell. That's pretty much what he tells her, okay? He tells her that she made a naive statement by saying, listen, if Marceau is out here cheating on me, then it's going to take God to reveal it to me. God will reveal to me everything that I know. Listen, that's that. When a woman says that, that means that she ain't trying to leave. She ain't finna go searching for nothing. And I don't even blame Tisha for this. I appreciate her at some point during this conversation. Eventually she was honest. But I feel like a lot of ladies are like that. A lot of y'all be like that, girl. Like, I mean, God is just gonna have to reveal that to me because a lot of women, and this is why if she did say that, I'm not tripping, okay? Because a lot of y'all will go through y'all dudes' phones and research and find this out. Y'all don't let him cheat in peace or whatever the case is. Girl, do what you want to do. It's your relationship. But y'all do all this searching, researching, and looking for everything, finding all the evidence you need. You find about 10 pieces of evidence. You feel what I'm saying? All of the exhibits, all the way through whatever a letter you need. You find all of that and you still stay. Girl, you might as well just keep it a damn bug. Let that man cheat and please. Let God reveal to you. The question is, when God reveals it to you, is you going to be ready to get the hell up off the table? I don't think so. And that's why I feel like Tisha will stay by any means. I don't think she's going to be ready to get the hell up off the table. Because just like Carlos said, Martell already revealed to you the 20 women's. He's already revealed the 20 women's to you. Okay. So Tisha goes on to say, okay, well, that wasn't no text messages. There were no photos. I mean, I need more receipts. There wasn't none of that. No text threads. Like, I need more. Give me more. Carlos says that it was a photo that was leaked of Marceau's back, allegedly. That's what we did see. Okay, and Tisha was like, that wasn't his bag. That wasn't his bag, right? So then she goes on to say, so wait, you want me to leave my husband because somebody posted a photo? And she says, well, let's do this, okay? She said, let's say that it is 20 women's, okay? How is it that with these 20 women, nothing has leaked out about my man? But when Martell was out here doing his thing, everything started to fly out. We started to learn everything about that situation. And I was just like, one, I think Martell was exaggerating with the story. Two, I do agree with Tisha as far as like, damn, like all these people my man supposedly had been talking to, but ain't nothing leaked out. But one person came out with your information, like make it make sense. I do understand that, but it's still, for me, I feel like the reason why Martell stuff leaked out was because Martell was still actively seeing the woman that he's seeing, right? Or the mother of his child, because I don't think they're seeing each other anymore. But I feel like whatever Marceau did likely happened prior to y'all joining this show. Or could be at the very tip of it, right? So I just don't see nobody coming out because it's been nobody in the past few years. I do think that Marceau has been out here entertaining people, whether he's cheated. I don't know. I do think that he's been out here entertaining folks. I do believe that. And I believe that these people were likely prior to the show. I feel like another reason, if you haven't heard anything, a lot of people see the scrutiny that Miss Ariane gets from the public after she came out and revealed that she had a child by this man and all this other stuff. So I feel like some of these ladies may not want that type of scrutiny, or two, may have moved on to be in their own happy relationships and don't feel the need to come forward to speak on this type of stuff because it happened, like Melody said, a few years ago. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, it could be anything, okay? It's just the fact that you never want to consider the possibility for me. But let's keep going. Martell was very clear to let her know, though, when it came down to Miss Ariane, I didn't put that out. Nobody put that out. Miss A came out, which she did. She started doing interviews and other stuff, talking to people, phone calls being recorded, all of this, because I think she wanted to come out to the forefront in hopes of likely being on the show, and that never happened for her. Now, Tisha does go on and say that if there really was some tea on me and Marceau, I really do feel like Melody and Martell would have put it out. So then Martell has to say, no, we not finna do that because I don't put out nothing. Let's be very clear about that. I have not put out anything. I don't know about y'all, but did y'all see Marceau's face sitting up there? Marceau gave me guilty, guilty, guilty. It gave me, let me sit here, be quiet as they have this conversation because I don't want to react off of emotion and end up exposing my damn self. That's what it was given to me. Y'all got to let me know y'all thoughts in the comments, okay? So Carlos asked Tisha, is there any possibility that Marceau could have cheated on her? And she says no. I mean, and if it was, don't you think that Martell and Melody would have put it out? Because they were really mad at us, you know what I'm saying? So they would have really put out all of the tea when it came down to it, okay? And I'm just like, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true that they would have put it all out when it came to y'all. You feel what I'm saying? I think that Martell is sitting over there being very reserved on some of the shit that he knows because he doesn't want to ruin a family and he doesn't want y'all to experience what he experienced when he got this divorce from Melody. So I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. That's the reason why. But I definitely think that Martell knows some things for sure. Martell asked Melody if she was lying about Marceau cheating on Tisha. Melody said no. So then he asked her, like, well, have you heard anything? She said, well, let me ask you, honey, have you heard anything? Why you over here asking me? And he was like, I have not heard anything like that. Okay, nobody said me that like that. She said, you sure? Because you and I was on the phone, okay, when she was standing right there. Let's be very clear. Girl, what is giving is that y'all was on the phone and she was standing right there because Carlos was like, Melody was likely talking to Carlos about an idea to bring to the show. That's what it sounds like to me. So then Tisha says, oh, you talking about the girl that Melody tried to hire, the girl Melody tried to pay to come on the show, the 5 racks Mel tried to pay to get the girl to come on the show. And Mel was like, girl, ain't nobody pay nobody to come on this show. So then Tisha kind of goes in depth and talks about how Melody tweeted out something about Marceau cheating or whatever with a certain girl or some stuff like that. And then next thing you know, Tisha said she got a phone call from the woman and said Melody, she can't believe Melody came out and said that and that she was trying to well, she said Melody was trying to pay her 5 rags. She said she would never do anything like that. But then in the same sentence, turned around and said, but if it was more money than that, then I probably would have done it. Girl, never and would have. It's not giving the same, okay? It's really not. What it's giving to me though is that Melody, you did confirm at some point that you did bring this girl on the show to comfort Tisha. That's just what it is, okay? You just admitted that you was not going to pay the girl to do it. You was going to let production pay the girl to come on the show. So it sounds like the girl was with it. Then she got on the phone to talk to production or Carlos or whatever. Based on what the girl was saying, they only offered the girl about $5,000. And Miss Girl likely was not with that. She was expecting more. So since she couldn't get what she wanted, and when the info was put out and she probably saw how the people started to come at her, that's when she decided to call Tisha and say, girl, no, I didn't do this. I would never do that. Da, 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 da. All this other stuff. I can't believe Melody put it out there like this. Da, da. But if they would have hit you up and said, we'll give you 20 racks or whatever, your ass probably would have did it, despite what the people having to say. You know what I'm saying? But anyway,